It's 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Bill Snyder, sitting in for Ken Campbell. To begin, not music, but comedy. I'm talking with Tim Mollen, who's heading an improvisational comedy workshop, he tried to say, at the Endicott Performing Arts Center, starting on Wednesday the 8th, June 8th, and going for 8 consecutive Wednesdays. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good. How did you get this idea what was the impetus to start this improvisational comedy workshop?
Well, I had been in a number of improv comedy troupes down in D.C., and after having doing it for a few years, found there was a need to get more people on stage as part of the troupe, and so we needed to give them kind of a practice ground to do some safe rehearsal before they went out in front of an audience and tried to play the game. So started my own series of classes about 10 years ago now. And this will be now my 8th workshop teaching people how to do this stuff. It'll be the 3rd time I've done it in Binghamton. My wife and I moved back here about 3 years ago and hooked up with EPAC, which has been a great home for us. And it's just a fun activity, even for people that are not actors or not otherwise into theater. They can get something out of this, just being spontaneous and listening to other people and kind of freeing up on stage.
What's the hardest thing that people generally have problems with in learning to do this sort of thing?
I think the hardest thing is just deciding to do it, to try. As much as I like to think I teach people something in the workshops, mainly I'm just providing an environment where they can try this. It's not a whole lot of lecturing by me. I don't sit there with PowerPoint presentations saying, now to be funny, one must do this. It's more just giving them a safe place, an encouraging place where they can do this kind of theater and be doing it with other people who are supportive and excited about it. So the toughest thing is just getting that initial nerve up to do it. As an example, a lot of folks have expressed hesitation. I'd like to take your class, but I'm really nervous. I don't want to get up on stage. I know at the end of your workshop you do performances, and I'd be really nervous about getting up in front of people and trying to be funny. I always and continue to put those people at ease by saying you don't have to do the performance to take my class. And also an encouraging thing, after 8 classes, I don't think a single person, a single student who's taken my class has decided at the end of it that they didn't want to get up on stage and do it. 201, every single person who's taken the class by the end of it was comfortable enough with the group of people that they were working with that they just got up on stage and had fun doing it.
How did you get started in improvisational comedy?
It was kind of a self-started thing in that I had grown up being a big fan of Saturday Night Live and even more so SCTV, Second City Television. And did a little bit of improv in high school. We had a good theater teacher at Seton Catholic Central, Johanna Goff, who used some improv techniques in a theater class. But that was more dramatic type improv, coming up with dramatic situations and kind of role-playing. Then I went to college, had another good professor there up at SUNY Oswego named Mark Cole, who used improv as a rehearsal technique to develop characters. And by my senior year at Oswego, I realized my heroes, the people that I wanted to be like, all came out of this world of improv comedy, most of them out of the Second City comedy troupe in Chicago.
For people who aren't familiar with that, who are some of the there are a lot of well-known names.
Oh, yeah, gosh. Everybody from dramatic people like Ed Asner to Alan Alda to Robert Klein, Joan Rivers, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Gilda Radner, John Candy. Could go on and on and on. Martin Short, Bonnie Hunt. There's literally probably hundreds. Mike Myers, Chris Farley, all these people came out of this one school of improvisational comedy that started in Chicago and later branched out into Toronto.
And what do you think that does for people? What muscles does that exercise?
Well, it's different. It's comedy, but it's not stand-up comedy. So it gives people an opportunity to be funny, but not necessarily in the sense where they need a rim shot after what they say. Mm-hmm. It's comedy that's more based on the human condition. So it's being given a situation and assuming a character or taking on a conflict in that situation that would make it. I guess it's less important that it be funny than it is that it be interesting and that it come out of that. A good example of it in the film world, one of the masters of improv is Christopher Guest. So if you've seen any of his movies like Waiting for Guffman or Best in Show, what was the other one?
A Mighty Wind.
A Mighty Wind. That was hilarious. And there's a lot of funny lines in those movies, but they're not written jokes in the traditional sense. They just turned on the cameras, had these people assume these strange characters, and they just let the film roll, and people improv'd that entire set of movies. It's inspiring.
Now you have different levels in this workshop, right?
Yep. Always in the past, I've had just the introductory workshop, and again, this will be like the 8th time that I've taught that. Some of my former students who have taken the class at EPAC had requested to do some more of this stuff. They enjoyed it so much they wanted an opportunity to do more. I had found in the past that trying to mix students who had done it before with people who had never done it before didn't work so well. It was better if everybody was on the same page, everybody was starting this experience together. So I decided, well, there's enough people now who want to go on with this, who have taken my first class, so we're offering an advanced class for the first time. And we also decided, because EPAC has such a built-in community there for youth theater, every youth production they do, like Grease, they just finished up last month, and they had 4 different casts for it, one for each year in high school. So they just have a really big built-in community there of youth theater. So we decided to give a try to having a teen workshop. My wife, who's a very talented comedian, Amanda Marsico, is going to be teaching a teen class. She's a little better with kids than I am. So we decided to let her give that a try, and we're looking forward to it.
If people are interested in taking this, what do they do?
They would... I was thinking about this morning. I've been telling folks on my website and in press releases and everything to contact EPAC. But if anybody's kind of wavering and thinking they might want to try this, I'm going to give my home number. I'll probably regret this, having given this out on the radio. But I'll be home the rest of the day. People can call me if they have any questions about this, if they even have an inkling that they'd like to do something on Wednesday nights this summer that's a little bit different. I'll talk you into it. So give me a call at 724-0084.
724-0084, correct?
Yep. Or they can check out the EPAC website, which is at endicottarts.com. That has the information about the workshop. Or they can check out my website, which also has information about it, and that's www.timmollen, TIMMOLLEN.com.
Okay, my guest has been Tim Mollen, TIMMOLLEN, who's having the Improvapalooza improvisational comedy workshops this summer, 8 Wednesdays, starting June 8th, at EPAC, the Endicott Performing Arts Center, at 102 Washington Avenue in Endicott. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, Bill.